Blackheads form when pores become clogged with excess oil and dead skin cells, so prevention works best when skincare stays gentle, regular, and simple rather than harsh, aggressive, or constantly changing. A good basic routine is to wash acne-prone skin no more than twice a day, and also after heavy sweating, with a mild cleanser and lukewarm water, because frequent washing, rough scrubbing, and very hot or very cold water can irritate the skin and make acne seem worse. It is also better not to squeeze, scrape, or try to clean out blackheads at home, because that can worsen inflammation and may leave permanent marks or scars. Oil-free or non-comedogenic skincare, sunscreen, and makeup can be helpful. And removing makeup before bed is a smart habit. Over-the-counter ingredients, such as salicylic acid, adapalene, and benzoyl peroxide, may help unclog pores or support acne treatment, but they can cause dryness or irritation at first, so it makes sense to start slowly and add a light moisturizer if needed. Improvement usually takes several weeks rather than happening overnight, and if acne becomes painful, widespread, scar-forming, or does not improve after a reasonable trial of self-care, seeing a dermatologist is sensible. And now, with that practical advice tucked neatly at the front, like a clean towel on a bathroom shelf, let the rest of the evening drift somewhere gentler and funnier, because in a small retirement town in Florida, where every cul-de-sac had at least one golf cart, and every golf cart had an owner convinced it counted as a personality, there lived a 79-year-old widow named Nadine Hollister, who had reached the age where she no longer confused surprise with inconvenience. In Nadine's opinion, most surprises were simply inconveniences wearing party clothes. Nadine lived in a pale coral bungalow with white shutters, a screened porch, and 2 square hedges trimmed so sharply they looked like they might issue criticism if anyone parked badly in front of them. Her late husband, Bill, had been practical in every essential matter and reckless only in one. He had a mighty weakness for raffle prizes. He won things the way other men collected receipts. Over the years, he had brought home a ceramic duck lamp, a brass fish bottle opener, a deeply suspicious wall clock shaped like a pineapple, and finally, in the last great flowering of his decorative confidence, a life-size cement flamingo wearing a tiny black bow tie. He won it at a church fundraiser after buying what he believed were 3 tickets, and what the treasurer later revealed had actually been 3 arm lengths of tickets. Bill considered the result providential. Nadine considered it evidence that certain men should never be left alone with side tables and optimism. The flamingo stood beside the front steps from then on, pink, slightly smug, and unspeakably pleased with itself. Bill called him Chester. Nadine called him that ridiculous bird for 6 straight years, until one afternoon she realized she had started straightening the bow tie after storms, which is how love catches you admiring the very thing you spent a decade mocking. After Bill died, Chester remained where he was, by the steps like a foolish sentry, because grief is strange and practical and often settles itself into objects nobody else would ever understand. Nadine's 2 closest allies in life were Velma Jo Pickens, age 73, retired office administrator, owner of a leopard print handbag with enough internal compartments to support a field hospital, and a woman who could tell from 30 feet away whether an apology meant anything, and Dale Sutton, age 82, former hardware manager, amateur pie judge, and a man who trusted pliers, black coffee, and his first impression more than he trusted websites, decor trends, or anyone who used the phrase immersive experience. Every Thursday morning, the 3 met at Palm Porch Cafe, where the pancakes were larger than decency required and the coffee was strong enough to restore citizenship. The waitress, a brisk woman named Tanya, called everybody honey in a voice that made it sound halfway like affection and halfway like she was trying to keep a kindergarten class from eating glue. One Thursday in late April, Nadine arrived 12 minutes late with an expression so sharpened by irritation that Velma Jo stopped buttering her toast halfway through the motion. "That face," she said, narrowing her eyes, "means either the HOA sent you something stupid or somebody has done a craft project in your direction." Nadine sat down, placed her purse beside her, and said, "Someone has made my flamingo the mascot of widow dating?" Dale blinked once. Velma blinked twice. Tanya stopped with the coffee pot suspended in air, as if the laws of motion themselves had decided to hear the rest. "You're what?" Velma asked. Nadine reached into her bag and pulled out a glossy lavender flyer. Across the top, in silver script so enthusiastic it should have required a permit, were the words, "Moonlight Match Social." Beneath a watercolor moon and two silhouettes holding wine glasses at angles no human actually uses, stood a large photo of Chester, the flamingo, in his black bow tie. Under the photo, in soft white letters, it read, "Start again with style. Meet our unofficial host, Chester." "Unofficial host," Nadine said, tapping the page with one fingernail. "No one has ever officially hosted anything less than a rainstorm from my front steps. Now, younger people might think the unauthorized use of a decorative flamingo to advertise a senior singles mixer sounds like a mild misunderstanding, but younger people have not yet learned what happens when older people are given loneliness, free time, and a printer." In Sun Palms Village, no event stayed small. A brunch became a committee. A committee became a power structure. A power structure became printed signage, and one woman named Carol calling everyone "my loves" while moving folding chairs with spiritual aggression. By the time eggs arrived, half the cafe knew. A man at the counter said he had always thought the flamingo projected approachability with standards. A woman by the pie case said the activity circle had finally crossed into symbolic misconduct. Tanya brought Nadine extra bacon for emotional ballast. Velma Jo had already written "Flamingo Incident" across the back of a paper placemat in block capitals. "We're investigating," she said. Nadine sighed. "We're eating breakfast." "Both can happen," Dale said, which was exactly the sort of sentence old people say when they have already promoted themselves into the case. By 10:30, they were standing at Nadine's front walk, looking at the place where Chester normally stood. Or rather, where he should have stood. The square beside the steps was empty, except for two little marks in the soil and one lonely rose petal that had no business being there. Nadine stopped cold. "No," she said. Velma turned. "What?" Nadine pointed. "He's gone." Dale took off his glasses, cleaned them on his shirt, put them back on, and looked again with the deep moral fatigue of a man who had once hoped society might improve and now settled for not slipping. "Well," he said, "that increases the paperwork." Velma found a ribbon caught under the porch rail, pale silver with glitter on the edge. Dale found narrow wheel marks near the driveway. Nadine stood with her hands on her hips, staring at the empty place where her dead husband's absurd flamingo had stood for years. "They have kidnapped a memorial bird for emotional marketing," she said. "That sentence should not exist in a lawful country." Velma wrote it down at once. By noon, all of Sun Palms Village knew. At the mailbox kiosk, Mrs. Lanford asked whether the social would still proceed without the mascot gentleman. At the pharmacy, a cashier said her aunt had already bought a ticket because the flamingo made it feel less pathetic. At chair yoga, two women paused mid-stretch to ask whether there would still be punch. Even Ernesto, the groundskeeper, who had wisely built a career around staying out of resident folklore, shook his head and said, "The flamingo? That's too much. Nadine's daughter called from Atlanta, already laughing. Mother, she said, why is Daddy's flamingo doing outreach? Because this neighborhood is one centerpiece away from administrative collapse, Nadine replied. Are you upset? I am offended on principle and curious in detail. The first useful clue came from the cashier at the craft store, who lowered her voice and said, I probably shouldn't mention this, but I saw Brenda Nell and Trisha from Activities buying silver ribbon, battery candles, and one fake pearl necklace yesterday. They also showed me a picture of a pink flamingo and asked whether black bow ties photographed as romantic or managerial. Brenda Nell chaired the activities circle. Trisha handled decor enhancement, which sounded innocent until one learned she had once proposed draping fairy lights over the bocce court to elevate evening energy. They were exactly the type of women who would hijack a porch flamingo in the name of morale. So by 1:30, Nadine, Velma, and Dale were at the community hall, where the Moonlight Match Social was already being assembled with enough chiffon and battery-operated charm to threaten the idea of sincerity itself. Folding chairs stood in pairs, small candles glowed in jars, a violin playlist leaked softly from the speakers. And there, near the front, on a little white crate beneath a sign that read, Love Has No Deadline, stood Chester. He had been polished, his bow tie had been straightened, and to Nadine's horror, someone had placed a tiny silk rose at the edge of his beak. Nadine stopped so abruptly that Velma nearly walked into her shoulder. Now they've flirted on his behalf, she said. Dale folded his arms. This is how civilizations rot. Brenda Nell turned and smiled in the strained, bright way of a woman who knows she has crossed a line but still believes the table arrangement came out beautifully. Nadine, she said, I was just about to call you. Then let us save one another time, Nadine replied. Why is my late husband's flamingo standing on a crate beneath an emotional slogan? Trisha appeared from behind the refreshment table, holding a roll of ribbon and the exact face of someone who had hoped to be caught later, ideally after applause. Several volunteers nearby slowed their movements and became entirely still, which is one of the highest forms of community athletics available after 70. Brenda spread her hands. Now, before you misunderstand, no, Nadine said. I understand fully. You took private property from my yard, accessorized it, and assigned it romantic purpose without permission. Velma opened her notebook. Dale made a low, approving sound. Brenda tried the usual excuse. We only borrowed him. Borrowed contains asking. We meant to ask. You did not. We thought you'd be flattered. By unauthorized flamingo. Courtship? Trisha tried the softer route. He just has such